Ethical awareness is bedrock of successful sustainable. Shankar, all okay? Hmm? I'm not okay. Check. Okay. Yeah. So this is happening on the 10th of Feb. Then on the 13th, on the 15th of Feb, again we have an event. I want to tell you the ethical thing which we want to do. We have Mr. Manan is the Chief Ethical Officer of Indian Oil Corporation. Along with him, Jay Devan, Professor L.S. Ganesh will be moderating. We also have Mrs. Sharda Jagan, who is the Managing Director of HR Corporate Services, will be joining us from Sanmar Group. Then on the 15th, we have a Leadership Shastra, lessons from Indian history, an outstanding thought. Pradeep Chakravarti will be talking to us on this. We have again three outstanding corporate leaders. Shai, you all know him, Vice Chairman of Hinduja Group. Venki Rajagopal is the Managing Director of Indian Terrain. And S.L. Narayanan is the Group Chief Financial Officer of Sun Group, Sun TV Group. So they are going to be talking to us. Don't miss this event. This event is happening again online and hybrid. 17th of Feb, we have success story outdoors done. Kalaima Mani VKT Balan. This is another new initiative what MMA said. We'll be doing a one program every month in totally Tamil. We want to really, because a lot of interest has come, a lot of requests have come from members that you must have a program in Tamil so that a lot of entrepreneurs who are in the stage of startup and think they will learn better. So not to disappoint anyone, we are doing this Tamil, and there may be Tamil and English, but I'm quite sure in being in Chennai, you must be able to enjoy this program. First to such program is happening on the 17th. Kalaima Mani VKT Balan is the Chairman, Managing Director of Madura Travel Service, will be talking to us. This event is happening in person at MA Management Center. Please do come and interact with him. He's an outstanding speaker, great success story to listen to him and how he moved millions of people through his service. Then on Read and Grow, Lady, You Are the Boss. Paperback is happening, You Are the Boss is happening on 18th of Feb. Then Toolbox for Emotional Coping. This is the next item, next event of under Women Managers, Women Business Managers Forum. Dr. Kritika Chari, neurologist and neurosurgeon, is the first Indian neurosurgeon and also neurophysician. She'll be talking to us on Toolbox for Emotional Coping. It's happening on 19th of February, totally online. Again on 24th, we have overcoming personal challenges for professional growth. Again, this event under Women Business Forum. This is happening. Ms. Meena Chabria. She is Associate Vice President of Brand Alliance, that is PVR Cinema. They run some thousands of screens around India. So she's going to be talking to us, and Maithili Chandrasekhar will chair both the sessions what I mentioned to you. This is an event that we have got. I also want to tell you our annual convention, flagship event, which was scheduled to be held in February, has been postponed to on the 12th of March. So March is very busy month for us. We have an event of annual convention, betting on the future, how India can make it the decade as its own. We got some outstanding top-notch speakers talking to us. Similarly, on the 26th of March, we have Women Managers Convention. This is again being organized by our MMA Women Managers Forum. Now, this is all in brief for you. Once again, I warmly welcome all the people who have joined us online, all the people who have joined us physically. Very warm welcome to you. Please stay safe and maintain the social distance protocol. That's why we block the seats so that you maintain that, and wear the mask all the time. Coming to today's topic, how to use social media for personal branding and career business growth. This is a subject which everybody talks every time because this is the one which everybody want to get involved. But if you're not in social media, if you're not in Facebook, you're not in Instagram, if you're not thing, I think you're not a human being. That's what many people think. You have to be part of many of this, and a lot of young people are also here. So you have to be part of the social media in some way. And if you are in business, you want to be seen, noted, you want to be visible. I think this is a forum which really helps you. To talk more and also share some great insights on the subject, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together to welcome Ms. Kritika, Bala Subramaniam, founder, CEO of Stoppers Communication. May I request Kritika to please come and take your place. Kritika Balasubramaniam is not new to MMA. She had come earlier, and many of the audience will be listening to her first time. And also take this opportunity to warmly welcome Maithili. Maithili Chandrasekhar is the one who is driving force behind Women Business Forum, and we have done last time more than 17 events we organized for your benefit, and your encouragement is so encouraging for us. We are going to bring you more such events, and she's also planning quite a bit of new initiatives in the coming year, and I'm quite sure all the women folks will enjoy. In the bargain, the men folks who are attending this event will also enjoy. Today's event of Women Business Forum. I can count about eight women in this auditorium out of about 70 people. Not bad at all. 10% is good. Numbers, I'm quite sure one day it will be 50%. Before I request Maithili to set the contract, introduce the speaker, let me introduce Maithili Chandrasekhar. She's a consumer behavior and brand strategy enthusiast and over 35 years of consumer behavior field and brand strategy. Recently retired as a senior vice president of national planning director of Walter Thompson. She is also published over 75 articles in leading magazines in US, UK media, and she also won the Patricia Mann Award of the Women Marketers of UK in 2008. Our clients also included ITC, Unilever, Euro Motor Corporations, and Pepsi Company, and much more multinationals. Very warm welcome to you, Maithili. It's a pleasure to have you with us. And now I request you to please introduce the context and also take it forward into the speaker. Over to you, Maithili.
Yeah. Thank you, Group Captain. So welcome everyone to yet another evening, the Women's Business Forum.
One second, we're not able to hear you, madam. Just a moment.
Okay. Let me know. Can you hear me now?
Log in.
You were able to hear me before
Can
the
you go ahead?
meeting?
No. Can you say hello, madam? Are you able to hear me?
I'm able to hear you.
Is it okay now, madam? Are you able to hear me?
I'm able to hear you, Group Captain. You were not able to hear me.
Increase the voice. Just a moment. There's some audio issue with you. They're resolving that.
Even you were not as clear as usual. You were a little weak, and occasionally there was an echo.
Yes, madam. There is some issues. I'm not weak. I think my system is really weak actually at the moment, I think. Okay. Yes, you guys better take care. Otherwise, they think MMA we are weak actually. Will you do that? Go ahead, Maithili. We are quite clear. Stand fine now. Please go ahead.
Okay. Thank you. So I was just saying, welcome everyone to yet another evening of the Women's Business Forum. But as you know, our topics and conversations are of interest to everybody, man and woman, young and old, actually. So today we are here to discuss a very interesting topic. You know, we are all on social media. We are all on Facebook. We are all on LinkedIn. We may go there. We may see the news. We may look at pictures of weddings and holidays and put a like somewhere or share something about who cooked what, and it's a window to the world and all that. But the point is, do we have a strategy for ourselves on what we are doing there? You know, we earn, we save, we buy homes and cars. We have some financial strategy. You may go for a walk, you may be exercising. Some of us may have a strategy, some of us may not. There are people who know what they're working on. Are you working on your shoulders? Are you working on your speed? Are you working on your hips? Are you working on your feet? Whatever. Do you have a strategy? Similarly, the question here today is whether you're just having fun on social media, whether you're a professional, whether you're an entrepreneur, or you're there in your personal capacity. Do you have a strategy is the question that we are asking. And so there are two aspects, and we've of course found someone very interesting to talk to us. Kritika's profile matches what the Women's Business Forum is all about. She was working in the corporate sector. She was an employee. She turned entrepreneur, and her own business today, what she does is manage the social media for brands and companies. So typical of today's youngsters, you know, when I browsed, that's the thing. We all get to know by people by browsing them. It could even be a future mother-in-law or a future daughter-in-law. It could be a future employer. It could be just someone I want to get to know because I have to introduce her. What do? We go online and see what their presence is. Kritika's presence was really interesting. When I go to YouTube, I find she's a singer and composer and videographer. If I go to Instagram, I find she also is into lifestyle and fitness. when I go to her own company website, I find she's an active blogger. She's created a lot of content on social media marketing itself. So thought she would be an ideal person to talk to us today. The thing is, earlier there, when I was growing up, there were consumers and there are marketers. Today, each one of us is a marketer. Each one of us has to market ourselves. Whether we like it or not, we are marketing ourselves in the way that we look, in the way that in whatever we do, consciously or unconsciously, whatever we are doing on social media is marketing us. So it's better we have a strategy, especially if you want to come across as a corporate professional and if you want to come across as an entrepreneur. So that's what today's topic is. Overall, as the group captain just mentioned, the presence of women right there at the meeting was a little less. And I was just reading today that 67% of social media users in India are men. 33% were women, but the numbers are growing. There were 26 million women who started using the internet in 2019 alone. Now, the reasons may be many. It may be access, it may be fear of cybercrime, it may be social norms, it may be a language issue. We are not concerned. The numbers will grow, but more importantly, when women come there, and if you're a corporate professional or if you're an entrepreneur, or if you're a student who is planning to be a working woman, what are how can you go about framing your strategy via social media? Over to you, Kritika.
Let me first do an audio check. Am I audible to all of you?
Yes.
Okay. Here? All right. Thank you for the introduction, and thank you for taking time to go through, all my social media handles and, get to know me very well before introducing. Of course, we did have a wonderful chat about how we can grow the Women Business Forum and create a community and all of that. And I think you're a very, buzzing personality and somebody who can add a lot of value to, the Women and Women Business Forum and also to MMA in general. So I hope today that, you have introduced the topic really well, and so did Group Captain. Good evening to all of you. As Ms. Maithili said, I'm someone, although I run a business that, does brand management and marketing strategies for businesses to thrive on social media and to put out their content and promote themselves on social media. How did I get into this was actually by learning the whole thing by trial and error, by putting content out there myself. I was always a corporate communications, traditional PR person. I was a journalist first. I started my career at the Data Quest magazine way back when there was no internet, and then internet came, and I'm that old, so just to let you know. And I have also been somebody who is not a native and who's had to learn every new animal or every new platform that came up and what we had to do, how did we have to go about putting our content there or any material there, or to promote ourselves there, or to learn just to observe what is going on there. I've had to go and learn it by myself, because it's not taught in schools. It wasn't taught in courses in schools, unlike right now, right? Unlike now, it's become a very, very integral part of the marketing mix. It is just like you pick up the newspaper and you find so many ads, and it used to cost huge amounts of money to place an advertisement in the Times of India and the Hindu newspaper, and even now it does. And you know that spending that kind of money did give you returns, but you would not probably be able to interact with the person who's actually done business with your brand based on that particular ad. So what changed is that today, again, people do spend a lot of money on social media, but there is a way to track and measure and monetize every money spent, which is relatively a more transparent way of marketers to do business. So this is why it's become very, very important. Just like you pick up the newspaper and read it, today you're reading, scrolling through Google, you're going through online news. WhatsApp is a big, though it's arguable, that's a big way where you get your information. Facebook is another place for you to get your information. So every single moment we all consume content. So every single moment somebody is putting out content. So I've had to learn that, and because of learning all that myself, I thought that I can share some of my, words of wisdom, or what I have picked up, what I've tried and failed, or what has worked for me, and what is working for some of the businesses that we work with, and some of the individuals that I see who are doing things right. In the short time given to us today, we can just hope to, graze the surface of what this whole thing is all about. This is going to be by no means a very comprehensive step-by-step guide to everything that you can do on social media. What I hope to do is to just, light that spark in you if you're lacking motivation to, go and do something, remove some of the myths or barriers that might be there in your mind, and then give you some thought starters on how to, go about the whole process. So we'll get started. It's my presentation. Yeah. So on a lighter vein, this is one thing for you. There are all these platforms, right? LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. What is everything? So if you were to explain it in a very light manner, Instagram is a very pictorial kind of a platform, right? So if you're talking about a donut that you've eaten, basically, in Instagram, how you talk about that donut is, here's a photo of my donut, of the donut that I ate. That's all. That's what Instagram is all about. You don't need to talk about the etymology and how it was made and all that. Instagram is about put the picture, talk about it. Okay, that's Instagram. LinkedIn, it's all about your skills and as a professional, what you're doing to project yourself. So the same donut story, how will you spin it for LinkedIn? Am I audible? Yeah. How will you spin it for LinkedIn? My skills include donut eating, donut making, whatever, right? So it's all about skill. So why I've given a very lighter vein example is for you to basically simplify, break it down and understand this. And later on, whatever I say will probably make more sense. Most of you have already experienced or are on some of these platforms already. So it may not be new to you, but it's still some sort of a, trigger to, think about everything and why you're doing what you're doing, and go through the reasons why you're on it, and then get started on a more thorough manner, strategic manner. So Twitter, it's all about hashtags and conveying it in a very, very crisp manner, or taking a stance or putting an opinion. It's just, I'm eating a hashtag donut. Facebook, just say I like donuts, right? And YouTube, here I am eating a donut, and videograph the whole thing. So this is all about it. It's just one donut and different ways to put it. These are the various social platforms broken down for you. In Google, you'll be saying, this is where I'm eating a donut. You can also put a, tag the location, all of that, right? So this is how it is on a lighter vein. So anywhere you have a issue about, okay, how am I putting this content? How am I repurposing this content for any particular platform? Think of this donut example, and then you'll know how to take the same content and spin it across the various platforms. So as already we have covered some stats, everybody before me, the speakers before me spoke to you about who are you, how many people are using, what's the percentage of women using, what's the percentage of men using. So look at the kind of consumption patterns. What are people actually reading about on social media or doing on social media? 35% read news. Some of them find inspiration for things to do and buy. I think this is something all of us do. Whether we do read news or not, we always look for, okay, let me go and see what I should buy. We compare rates, and we go on to some online platform, look at it, or we sometimes use the other way around. We go to, if we want to buy a phone, what I did was I went to Chroma, I went everywhere else, looked at the phone, and then came and compared the online rates and saw which was cheaper and bought, right? So these are the kind of things that we do, look for inspiration. Then some of them watch live streams, right? What people are doing, live videos, tutorials, all of that people watch, or programs, content like this, seminars like this, educational content, all that. And work-related networking and research, 22.9%. So pretty much, there's a huge split of every sort of activity that you see going on, which we will try and break it down. How do we then capitalize on all this kind of consumption pattern? If people are doing all this on the internet, and if you are on the other end of giving this some information to people, how should you then go about attracting these percentage of people for your purposes, right? So this is a very, very interesting and arresting quote, which, you know, I personally loved. All of us are, you know, walking, talking brands of our own companies. We are representatives of our own companies, right? So we are me or whoever we are. So we have a certain set of attributes. We are brands ourselves. So either as a professional or as an employee or as a promoter of a particular product that you have, you know, developed, or an entrepreneur, you definitely need to embody those qualities or activities and promote yourself as a brand. So our most important job is to therefore market ourselves very well for what we stand for. So this I just now covered. We could either be, you know, people who are, most of us here, I think, are people who look at activities of other people, who do it for, you know, what we call time pass. We, you know, we look at what's happening around us. We learn sometimes, or we look for inspiration, all of those things. But very few of us actually take an active interest and share content other than putting photographs. Okay, I attended this wedding, I went to this place, this was a very picturesque location, tourist spots, things like that we post about. We don't actually do it with a sense of purpose as to, okay, this is what I need to be seen as. This is what is the picture I want to paint for people. We don't do it with a lot of thought and a lot of idea behind what we are doing. But we do have a purpose. We want to have a purpose, rather. If we want to have a purpose and we have a clear outcome that we are seeking out of social media, then there should be certain things that we should keep in mind while we are going about the process. So that's what we'll try and do. If you're happy just looking at what other people are doing, then there is no need for you to, you know, take a lot from this talk. But if you're someone who wants to change your social media game, who wants to actually make some sort of a story about yourself come out, either as a professional or as an entrepreneur or as an employee of a company, or as a, you know, just a person who's a, you know, active storyteller, or somebody who's probably these days YouTubers are there. You know, many of you could already be having channels that and are posting or a content creator, right? If you want to do any of that and add value through your presence on social media, then all of what I'm going to say beyond these slides will probably make sense to you. So these are the categories of people with certain, you know, purposes on social media. We talked about homepreneurs or entrepreneurs. You could be a baker, you could be a, you know, a chef, or you could be a yoga instructor, a Zumba instructor, or you could be a music teacher, or you could be home tuition teacher, anything. Then you are on your own a homepreneur, right? Then you definitely need to think about how to reach your customers, your prospective customers and your current customers, how to keep them engaged on social media. Why you would want to do it is to increase awareness about yourself, become a sort of a sought after person. People will want to listen to what you have to say. People will follow your opinions and become a thought leader in your chosen realm, and also drive business, right? Because you're putting out some content which is useful to the people who are looking at the content, they tend to find you more credible. They tend to believe your authority, and then they tend to do more business with you. They tend to start a conversation, have an inquiry, which is exactly what any homepreneur or entrepreneur is seeking. The second category you could be is a professional, a general corporate professional who's working in a company and you know, who's in a 9-to-5 job. But yet you're somebody who needs to be seen in the job market as recruitable. You're not forever going to be tied to one company, or even in your chosen company itself. You may want to set yourself apart from your peers and colleagues. You may want to be seen as an opinion leader. You may want to be seen as somebody who's you know, a thinker and somebody who's got strong views on subjects, or you may want to show your passion towards a certain niche that you're very good at. So So either you could promote your firm itself, your company itself, share your larger company's achievements and growth and your own growth in the firm. You could use the platforms, social media platforms for that. Or you could share content showcasing your field of expertise. Okay, if you're in any particular niche, for example, AI, robotics, wherever, if you're good at something, and if you have certain ideas that are your own and authentic and credible, you may want to share that to the extent of what you want people to know about you. And definitely the third and most important thing is to seek opportunities to grow in your career, right? So when you're setting yourself apart among 10 people who recruiters, prospective job employers check their profiles out on LinkedIn, if you are somebody who has spoken a few things which set you apart, which show you as somebody who's serious about your job, as an employer or a recruiter, I'm more likely to put your resume in front of the prospective employer. So is this not a good enough reason to, stay focused and have a thought process behind your social media, right? If not for anything else. The third category is you're a young adult, you're a student, or you're, somebody who's doing your thesis or some post-graduation, looking to, see what is your next career path, or just, yet to step into the career game. If that's your thing, you still could be showcasing your skills, your opportunities. You could be involved in some project, you could be involved in some social activity. Then you could want to showcase your skills there. You could potentially consider being a content creator. Well, the other two categories also are content creators, could potentially make a living out of being a content creator. You know that today, if you put out content in YouTube or in other platforms, you could very well be paid to do the same. Over a period of time, if you're good at it, these are what we call influencers. You could become someone. Today, not every brand can afford to take an MS Dhoni or an Aishwarya Rai or somebody else as a brand ambassador, right? Today, micro brand ambassadors are present in every one of us, and if we have a credible following, if we have a good enough number of followers in our Instagram or our YouTube or Facebook account, brands are more likely to approach us to write about them and endorse them. So that is also a pretty good reason for many people to think about what they want to showcase about themselves on social media, to be a content creator, to always talk, present or project an authentic picture of yourself, so that more people will want to do business with you in some manner or the other. So what really now, as I first broke down the example of various platforms, using the donut as an example for you. Typically, if you're either a homepreneur or a young adult or a corporate professional, any of this, the question that most people ask is, okay, how many platforms should we be on? Where does it make sense for us to put our content, or what should we be doing? Should we be everywhere? Where is the time for all that? Well, we will get to all of those questions, but typically based on large categories, we can split some of the platforms and say this is an ideal place for you. But you will have to think through as to whether everything works out for you, or you want to pick and choose one particular platform and not spread yourself thin and just have a very focused way of talking about your brand and your content. So for homepreneurs, cake bakers, all these people, entrepreneurs, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. These are the possible options. Not necessary that you should be on all of these platforms. You can use one of them, or put 2 or 3 posts across these platforms and see where your audience is predominantly. You could also, today there are many surveying tools. You could do a mini survey across your friends and family and your relatives circle and put posts on your Facebook page to find out where your audience is present. What are they doing online? Where are they getting their content from? And then tailor make your approach to be in which particular platform that is very suitable for you, right? There are many free survey options available online for you today. As a corporate professional, as somebody who's working in a company, LinkedIn is, of course, a must. Instagram, Facebook, it's up to you. If you have any special interests like photography or something like that, you may want to showcase it through the various other platforms. But LinkedIn should pretty much do it for you if you're a regular professional who just wants to set themselves apart slightly in their chosen field of their career. For young adults, of course, it's all over the place. It all depends on what kind of content that you're going to share with your people. You could be somebody who's a, a chef, or a, somebody who's, photographing or interviewing restaurants and their process of making food, giving new tips and tricks to people for DIY projects and wood related projects. It could be anything. So if that is the case, then whether video platform is good for you or a photo platform is good for you, like we said, choose that. LinkedIn is more to get a job or to network with people, to find people similar to you. People can even choose to go for the paid option of LinkedIn if you want to actually send emails to the people that you want to network with, inside emails, which with a note, a personal note, and connect with people and build your network. So now we've got into why people will want to use social media, should use social media, and what are the various platforms that are suitable for them. So how to go about in a very strategic manner, how to make it as a brand story that you want to tell people, how to project yourself as a brand, or how to project the brand that you're representing. So that is something where you need to put a little bit of thought. It's not that you need to be a professional in this area. It's all by trial and error. Just like I learned it by trial and error, every one of us who's attending this talk today, I'm sure, can do it, because even the tools and how to do it, everything is at available when you just put a query in Google search. You know that, right? So all of it can be learned, self-learned. Nothing is rocket science. So take the ITY from personal brand, add ITY to it. Have a certain personality and authenticity to what you're saying on the social media, and there will be people who will respond to what you're putting out there. Okay. So I'll give you a few steps. Wherever later on we'll pause for questions, and I'm sure you will have some. I'll give you a few steps on how generally people go about and what we do when we define an idea or strategy for how to promote your brand. So define your niche. So what do you stand for? What are you here to offer? Are you going to sell a product? Are you going to talk, give interesting stories from Bhagavad Gita or some other spiritual text? Are you going to do that, or are you going to just offer some kind of a service, makeup service or stuff like that? Are you going to do that? What is the outcome that you're seeking, and what is it that you're putting out that will benefit your audience? So if put yourself in their shoes and ask this question, that whatever I'm doing, how will it benefit the audience? Right? And will they be able to take away a tip that will change the way that they do things? Am I giving a hack? Am I giving a tip? Am I giving something? Think about that, and based on that, define your niche. You may, the audience may want 100 million things. You can't offer everything. Based on your strength, address any one particular requirement or a need that your audience might have, and fulfill a particular requirement of them, what they may need, and that will probably be your niche, which you will find over time. You cannot find it overnight, but if you really think about it and look at what people are doing, you will understand. Step 2, who is your target audience? Be very clear. If you have an age group of people that you really are conversing with, having a conversation with, who is really going to consume, right? Whether if it's some kind of spiritual talk, although you may want young adults to consume it, today maybe only the older generation will probably consume that content. So understand who you're talking to. Who's your target audience? If you're a baker, then young moms who will want to order cakes for their children's birthdays, or friends ordering for birthday parties, or somebody surprising somebody else, Valentine's Day. All of those will make sense to you. Right? If you're a Zumba or a yoga instructor, well, the age group can be from 25 to 65, 75 also. Yoga can be for everybody. But are the older generation available on this platform? Which platform should be on? So understand your target audience, who exactly is going to consume the product or service or the content that you're going to put out there. Understand that, and specifically just do that to tie in and connect with the industry. Is it for general public? Defining the audience is basically for you to cater to them and be mindful of the content that you are offering. Have goals. This is true of traditional marketing, anything, right? If you want to, if you're doing something, there should be a purpose. What do you want to achieve out of it, right? You want people to talk to you and ask you questions. You want people, if you're an author, you want people to buy your book. If you are somebody who is selling, let's say, some kind of a product that is a home improvement product, then you want people to inquire. Okay, how to go about doing that out, whether to order it online, where is your product available. If you're offering some therapy, you want people to inquire whether this is comparable with other therapies that are available. So such things. So what do you want to achieve by posting the content? Some content might be just I want people to learn something from it. Some content may be that I want people to buy some. At the end of it, I have a click option, which we call as call to action in marketing. I want that. What is the call to action you expect from the content that you're putting out? Is it just listening? Is it you want them to ask you some question based on that? Do you want them to buy your product? Do you want them to fill a form? Do you want them to visit your website? Do you want them to subscribe to your channel? What is the net result you're seeking out of the content? Think about that. Then, basis that, you will understand what is it that you should say. Step 4. Is this something we definitely do naturally? Look for inspiration from your competition. If you're doing something, then definitely look for other people who have done this really well. Learn from them. Who do you admire? Who do you aspire to be like? So take a leaf from them. Understand how they're going about their social media. Go look at their posts, see what they're saying, and go look at the posts where people have commented a lot or engaged with, and see what their followers are doing. See what's the kind of age group of followers. See the kind of questions they're asking. What are the comments saying? Based on that, you'll learn a lot about how you should position yourself, right? So this is a very, very important step. As much as understanding who you are, you definitely need to understand your competition, or you can say your inspiration folks. It may not necessarily be competition. If you're in a unique nature of business, you may not really have competition in the beginning, but you will have people who've done this really well. So you want to emulate them. So go out and look at content as much as possible and learn something from them. Keep a document of all the things that you've taken away from some people that have inspired you, and then try to follow at least a few of that in your own strategy. Step 5. First, choose, right? We said that we need to choose the platforms that we want to be on. Step 5 is to segment the content. If you have a video, if you have a photo, if you have something about your professional skills or a job upgrade that you want to talk about, categorize it. Categorize it based on which social media platform you want to put which content, right? And then this is what it is. Instagram, it'll be fully images, video, all that you want to say. LinkedIn will be about industry trends, something that's, you can even, it's not always necessary for you to, write something on your own or post something. You can definitely go and comment in a very authentic manner in somebody else's post, network with leaders, share something somebody has posted. Never just share it just like that without writing your own caption on top. If you want it to be read, or if you want your, share to be viewed by more people, you should always say something on top of it as to why I should read you. Every single day, millions of people are sharing content. Why is your share so important that I should take time to click that link and go to that page? If you want somebody in your Facebook following list or in your Instagram follower list to actually take the pain to go and consume the content that you've shared, then please take the effort to write something on top of it as to why it's so important that they take away something from that content, right? So that's for LinkedIn. Twitter, you share opinions on trends relating to the industry, all within 250 characters. You need to, some people take to it, some people don't. It's a place where, opinions are shared freely. It has made and marred so many people's reputations. It's brought down, it's started so many movements, which we know We need to be responsible also on social media, which is something that goes across any sort of niche that you have chosen. Facebook, anything goes, images, articles, video, everything, and you can build communities and groups also. YouTube is you share knowledge and create videos for people to consume. These are some people who have really made a difference, who have taken to social media and built their profile and actually built their businesses on social media itself. Teaching about social media. Vaibhav is somebody who started the growth school, and there are lots of workshops. If you have seen any of it, you may have seen or clicked on any of their links. They teach how to build your. You may want to take a course of this nature if you're really serious about it at some point. But I suggest first try and learn everything by yourself, do trial and error, and then deciding based on your appetite for learning more, you go ahead and learn more. Next step, make it a ritual, right? This is very much like any other aspect of your business, promoting it, going to an event, giving your cards out, doing some kind of networking. Online, making your presence felt is also like a ritual. It's also like something that you should take seriously. Like I said, it's part of the marketing mix of every company. People are putting it actively into their marketing budgets to advertise on online platforms as much as they're doing on offline platforms. So therefore, as a brand or as an individual or as a company, you need to take it seriously and not just say that, okay, this is for another time. This is something that I'll get to whenever I have time or whenever I finish all other activities. No, it's an integral part of how you want to promote your businesses, and it features right on top of the other list of very key marketing activities that you need to undertake. So consistency is key. You can choose your own frequency. It can even be once a week, but make it regular. If it's a Thursday, it's a Thursday. Every Thursday, there'll be something out from your brand. So putting it out consistently is a key factor to being taken seriously. But while I stress on consistency, I also must say that consistently putting out quality content is necessary. Even if you miss 1 week, it's fine. But if you don't have anything very interesting or important, or if you don't have the time to make it into a very quality post, don't just say something for the sake of saying something and bring down the level of the content that you're doing. So for you to be taken credibly or taken seriously, you need to definitely make sure that there is a certain baseline or the benchmark for the quality of content that you're putting out. So while consistency is important, it definitely does not top quality. The 7th step is to create content to build relationships, right? So it's not like, okay, I have to do it, I'm doing it for the sake of doing it. Think of it as just like you're going to an event like this and you're meeting some people and you hopefully try to exchange cards with a few people and build some relationship and start a conversation which you can later continue. Likewise, social media or promoting your own brand in a particular platform is also a way for you to start a relationship or a conversation. And based on that, to see how you can further mutual interests, right? So if you think of it that way, then you know what to say. Instead of just thinking of it as some, something that is tech and it's something that we cannot fathom, just think of it as this is the conversation that has moved into the system or the phone. You're going to say something. You've been given the podium and you're going to say something that should be of interest to the other person and that should evoke a response from the other person. What will you then say? If you have a specific area of interest, everybody here is passionate about something or the other, right? So if you want to make sense to the person and elicit a certain response from the person, a positive response, that will further your mutual interest. Think of it as a conversation or a way to start building a network or a relationship. And then you will have a better guide or a rule of thumb in terms of deciding what to say and what not to say. So what kind of content you should create? So we've already covered it in some aspect. 4.55 billion people are on social media. And even if, a minuscule percent of these people watch your account, you would reach 4 million people, right? So each of us have, a friend list of exceeding 500, 600 people sometimes, right? But, we really don't utilize or leverage that. We should, also know that as much as we want people to read and respond to our content, we should also read and respond to other people's content. There is a mutual, beneficial system going on, a symbiotic relationship going on. So that is something that you should keep in mind. Sharing finance tip, life coaching, creating recipes, all of this we've covered. These are all examples of people who've done really well. These are people who have been inspirational, brands that have done a great job of building their profiles online, brands that inspired me personally, that I've, kind of put out here for you, how relevant they've stayed, and how they've kind of grown in the minds of their consumers, and how they're, household names today. Whether they have been a very traditional brand or a new age brand, they've still, done the right things on social media and been a force to reckon with, So this is the next part. What we'll talk about is what you can expect. So when you do all this on the, on this side, promote your work, share your expertise, or stay relevant, what will happen? You will create domain authority. You will become a sort of an expert, somebody that people will come to you. There will be something that people will find you interesting always. Come on. You know that if you put out something, if you even share a nice picture on Facebook, next day if you're meeting somebody, hey, I saw that picture. Hey, did you go to, those hills? What did you see there? Did you eat in that restaurant? This is a conversation that we have. So what if you made that count? What if you made that work for you? Right? If you know that even for putting a random thing, people are talking to you, are engaging with you. If you actually made that purposeful, then you can gain something out of that whole time that you're putting out there. So what you can get or what you can attract is investors, job seekers, collaborators. It's like a huge universe that will open up for you if you do this well, collaborators, people who are similar, like-minded. We're all looking for somebody who is like us, to do a greater job together, right? So additional source of income in many cases, a bigger target audience who listens to what you have to say, and job opportunities. These are just a few. We know that, crimes have been solved, so many things, people have been found, so many other things have happened through social media. You can do good work. You can actually tweet out for people to actually donate to a cause. So many things that you can do through having a powerful social media presence. So this is by and large something to get you started, to get you thinking. No matter what, we all should know that this is something, a platform that we need to act responsibly, not use it as a place to vent our political frustrations or any or harass people or talk about or make some remarks that are apolitical. So so we should definitely take this as something where just like when we won't say something to the face of someone, what all we won't do in person, we should also think and act responsibly on the online media as well. Yeah. So if you're somebody who's already got these thoughts of doing something online or making a better presence online, I hope that today would have given you some insights and given a trigger or a few ideas for you to get started. I'm very happy to take questions. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Maithili, should I go first or?
No, I'll just thank you very much, Kritika. That was fantastic. I'm going to ask Babita, our co-chair and council member, who I feel has personally done a fantastic job of her own social media presence. Babita, before I hand over, I just want to say something as an older person to whom this digital thing was new. I think you are slightly the next generation and you managed to straddle both. So, Kritika, this is not just a question, but Babita, Kritika, all of you, before the internet, we had to build our presence. And Babita knows, the way we did it, we wrote articles in newspapers and magazines. We looked for speaking opportunities in industry forum. And internally, we, for example, I created a lot of training content and went from office to office, training people so that every employee got to know you. For clients, again, we offer to do training, or we created content and sent them newsletters, and we did build expertise. But when this digital media came, I just, even today, I feel lost. And what amazes me is the questions that you put are actually the questions that all of us, and me personally, have the same questions we ask when we work on our brands. But when it came to, even today, I'm thinking, what should I actually be doing on social? I just didn't apply those same questions to myself. You've really opened my eyes, so thank you for that. I'll hand over to Babita to really take this conversation forward. She's more really in it. All of you need to Google her and see how she has built her presence.
Maitli always is so generous that, she is my mentor, my friend, my colleague, everything. Thank you, Maitli. Hello, everyone. And thank you, Kritika. That was so good. I love the slide on donuts.
Yeah.
I think a lot of us have a lot of things to say, but to be able to simplify it and to put it visually, I think I remember every line. And whenever I eat a donut, I'm going to remember it. I'm going to quiz myself, what's the one on YouTube, etc. So thank you. Everything was very, very relevant. The question is more something which I also ask myself when I post, right? Not so much on LinkedIn, but on the other platforms. There's a kind of post that when you read it, it appears very spontaneous, right? And there are some posts which appear very planned, almost like you've spent time wording it, etc. And somehow I feel, just from observation and also what I've read, and what I've seen, that the touch of spontaneity really seems to attract more of an audience, right? When you write very honestly, where you know that somebody's just been out there with your views, rather than, holding yourself back or planning the whole post as an article that you write. So would you have any views on this? Do you think they're separate?
Babita, yes, I think that's fantastic what you just brought forth. We, as you know, from a marketer's point of view, as well as from a content creator's point of view, sometimes we always wonder what is it about a certain post that made so many people react to it, which we personally thought was not a big deal. We just said something, right? Or it could be a simple poll question, and then everybody will react to it. Or it could be just one statement talking about your mood for the day, or how blessed you're feeling about a certain event. And it's just that spark of connection that people feel. I think it could be a very thought out post, or it could be a spontaneous post. But I think there are certain times, or a context, or the mood of the what is happening in the current environment that triggers a certain response. And also the time that people have to consume content is just a split second, and it has to quickly click in their minds. And if all of it falls together, it falls in place, then they engage. It's very tricky. It's not something we can nail it down to a science and say, oh, okay, this is what it works. Everybody, all the brands across have come to us and say how to make a viral video. There is no way to make a viral video. There is no way to actually teach how to make a viral video or know that it will go viral, right? Of course, you can put all the celebrities in it and spend a ton of money and make some video or a content go viral. Or you could just, somebody who's never even intended would say something and that would go viral. And they wouldn't have spent a penny on it, right? So like you said, there is no answer for this. It is definitely something that we should keep in mind is being authentic and true to yourself and straight from the heart is the way to go. Don't try to be someone you're not.
Yeah.
Be who you are online and offline. Researching something, internalizing something, and putting out a thought out content doesn't necessarily mean you have to be something away from who you are in person. Reading about something extra and making an extra effort in creating a content does not necessarily mean that the content should be, if somebody sees you in person, they'll say that, hey, Babita is not even this person. What is she talking about? it should make sense. It should tie in with your personality. It should tie in with who you are and what you stand for. Then people will engage. Yeah.
No, that's so true. I think being authentic lies at the heart of everything we do. And sometimes social media just makes you want at times, I think, to be, because you read so many different kinds of posts. So it's very lucrative to see, okay, those posts work, so let me try and do something like that. But I think it just falls flat because people look for the genuine you. Thank you so much. That's a fantastic response. I'll just hand over to the audience because
I just want to say something. I wonder, Babita, Kritika, both of you think that there might be an answer in this. I have personally observed that authentic and strong emotion, whether it's spontaneous or planned, is what works. So it's either a little anger. It can be simple or it can be intense. A simple joy. Something which brings forward sorrow or sympathy, or it brings forward a sense of being victimized, something that will get a reaction. And for me, I just feel even viral, at the heart of all virals is a strong emotion, positive or negative. Absolutely. With that, I'll pass it on to the audience. I think they have tons of questions. And Kritika and Babita too, please chip in and answer them.
Thank you, Ms. Maithili and Ms. Babita, for the the questions to say, maybe put up a couple of questions.
Echo. There is a lot of echo. And hi, Lata, please step in whenever you feel like it. There's a lot of echo, Group Captain.
Yeah, let's take it out. Okay. So, you have a question? So, you just pull it up, so cover live, or take the questions which are covered social media as well.
So, my question is to Ms. Kritika. Simple question, how do you capture the particular audience you need in social media? Because if, for example, I'm on YouTube, so how do you capture the particular audience I need? So, what are the ways to?
It's a very general question that you're asking. Yeah. If the first steps for you to, when you start your channel, would be to obviously reach out to your friends and family and your immediate circle to get them to subscribe. And then there are hashtags and things that you do within the channel. See what people are looking for, and then put the relevant hashtags and tags that are there in YouTube to basically make sure that your video appears on related searches for related videos of other people, right? So this is something you need to delve a little more deeper. You'll understand. You can do a little more of searching yourself on Google as to how to go about this whole thing. These are hacks that you can do inside your channel to optimize it, to make sure that more people see your channel. Other than that, there is also advertising. You want to promote a particular video to a particular segment based on interest, based on location. All that is also possible on YouTube.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question? Yeah. Hi, this was a very interesting talk. And I really enjoyed listening to your examples and the way you built the entire case for how social media is meant to be managed. I have two questions. One is, can you tell me a little bit about social media optimization, how it works? And the second is, I do follow some social media, and I think there is a subtle age line between these media. Not everybody is present. Not all age groups are present in all of these media. And I noticed that the language is very different on each medium. So can you tell a little bit about what is this social media language that people adopt? And for somebody of my generation, we may not even be familiar with all the abbreviations. How do we pick that up? So can you help with that? Yeah.
I'll answer your second question first, which is some kind of a language that you talk about. I think we should very simply go back to a few points that I had mentioned about your audience, your niche, and who you want to talk to, right? So this is nothing to do with social media. You just take traditional marketing, traditional brand principles. If
the same thing. Nothing has changed.
Okay.
If your audience is a set of 25 to 35 or 35 to 45 people or corporate professionals, and you're talking to them, or you're talking to home entrepreneurs and people who have to learn some recipes from you, depending on that, your language will have to be thought about. If you're creating content for I don't know Gen Y, after Gen Y, what is it? The name for that. So if you're creating content for say 16 to 18-year-olds or for parents of this generation, then you have to think about lingo.
Okay.
If you're not creating content specifically for them, then you should be true to yourself. Whatever language you speak in is totally okay for social media. If this is the content that you're putting in, if you're talking about yoga, you're talking about lessons, life lessons that you learned, or from from management lessons, or from spiritual books or something like that. Obviously, you have to be true to that language. You can use small phrases that you've picked up. Like, we don't say small phrases that you've learned. We used to say that before. Now we say picked up.
Okay.
These are just small ways in which our language has adapted over years by
Okay.
watching the global speak as such. But
Right.
this does not mean that you need to know things like OMG and YOLO and this and that and everything that
Yes.
now and all that that these people talk about. You don't need to become them to talk to them.
Good. Yeah.
The good thing is that they also know regular English. The people who are consuming our content. So I think that's just again, it goes back to authenticity, all that conversation we had before this.
Correct.
Plus,
Right.
who you are is what you need to show yourself as. Don't become someone else, then you will definitely look fake.
Right. Right.
When I use language like that, my daughter laughs. Like, even when I talk, if I try to use something which is not really in my personality, I don't get a great reaction from my daughter. I sound funny.
Yeah.
In a bad way, not in a good way, right? So
Right.
instead of listening to what I have to say, the attention goes into the phrase that I actually tried to mimic, which fell flat. So language is not something you should worry about. Worry about the content, and
Okay.
if you're someone who's a stickler for good grammar in English and all that, by all means be a stickler. Don't change just because
Right.
people are using short forms and all that. Don't change. So be true to yourself is my thing.
Right.
The other question you asked was about optimization. It's a huge topic. I don't really know what exactly you wanted. There is search engine optimization, and for each platform there are various optimization tips and tricks, which if you're an initial stage of content creator, you shouldn't be bothered much about it.
Okay.
What you should do is just start somewhere and start doing things.
Right. Right.
Over a period of time, you will find a pattern of what has worked well for you. Just look at the pattern of what are the posts that have done well for you. What are the pieces of content that people are reacting to well? What has performed well for you? Besides that, all these platforms give you insights. If you're a professional page, if you've opened it as a business account, all the platforms give you insights and analytics as to which of the posts have performed well, who reacted to you, did men react or women react, did young adults react or senior people react. So that will give you an idea to go about in tweaking your content to suit your audience better. That is broadly an optimization hack that you can follow.
Right.
Over and above that, if you still feel you need more traction as a business, by all means, go to a professional.
Right.
Initially, till you
Right.
learn everything. If you feel that you have the time, you can definitely do it yourself. But most people who are running a business at some point find that it's too much for them to straddle everything. So they go to a professional for optimization hacks and everything,
Right. Right.
which is very much available today. Interns are also available to gladly do this job for you. So
Correct.
that's what I would say. Babita, you have anything to add?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for that very clear answer.
Very clear answer. Nothing more to add at this stage.
Thank you, Ms. Kritika. So we have over 700 people watching the program right now live on social media. So we have a large number of questions as well.
So we will try and take as many as possible. The first question I would take, there's one gentleman who wants to ask a question here. I'll come to you maybe after a couple of questions because we will take some online as well. Mr. Nagendran from Kanyakumari wants to know, ma'am, your talk indicated that social media can be used effectively for professional and personal success. But he says there's a lot of time also that gets wasted in social media once you indulge. So what is the kind of a time discipline or social media discipline that one has to follow? Do you have any advice on this as to how much time could be spent on social media on a daily basis?
Okay, so that's a very good question. And, it's pretty much like any other distraction. It was earlier TV. There were so many channels available. And, when commonly people used to say TV is a distraction, people should not have televisions in their house. And there used to be a brigade going anti so many channels. Everybody said the remote is in your hand. So who's asking you to, keep watching, switch it off? Just like that, there is a discipline, self-discipline that's involved in this whole thing. It's more about knowing why you're there, doing your activity, and then coming out. So naturally, if you're somebody who is prone to distractions, then you can set yourself limits. There are people who I know who specifically put their phones away into, their closets or something, into the drawer, lock it up to do some other work and concentrate and then come back. You could see what works for you in terms of your self-discipline. So that is to stay away from the distraction of it. But to use it productively, you can set yourself a time that every day between whatever lean time is there in your day. For me, typically it's early morning. For many other people, it may be, late afternoon, some other time of the day that works for you. Set yourself a specific time. Just like you would set yourself time for your, fitness or your walking or your any other activity, constructive, productive activity for yourself, you set yourself a time for promoting yourself or your brand on social media. So this is how you channelize your time to make it productive, which is more a time management question than a social media question. Yeah.
Okay. So there are a few questions from the students as well. A lot of them are watching today, looks like. So one is a student called Bobby Rajak. She's Bangalore. She wants to know, there are a lot of institutions offering these digital marketing courses. How do we choose the right one? That is one question. And I'll take the second question of the student as well. There's another question, Mr. Ranjit. Madam, social media also has affected some students and professionals' career. How should we be careful about that?
Great. So in terms of social media courses, there are many business schools that offer it. Maybe if you want a certificate that is, legitimate certificate, you can go like that. Or there are platforms like HubSpot and all of them, they offer courses. Google itself has a course. You can go for that, or you can go to sites like Udemy and all that, where they have a very limited amount of money that you pay, and first understand whether you're cut out for this, whether you really want a career in this, or you want to just learn to operate on it at a slightly deeper level that you are on today. So if you just pay like 500 rupees, I think on Udemy and on several of these online platforms today, you have like some 10 hours of training or 12 hours of training videos that are available. So if you're a beginner, I would suggest you first dip your feet, wet your feet there, find out first whether it's for you, whether it's your cup of tea. If so, then you can look at various other options in terms of serious courses, because that cost a lot of money. And if there's any specific area, you will also know when you do this small course on online platforms, you'll also know, just like in other professions, there are many niche areas in social media itself where you want to specialize. So in which area of it you want to learn more? Do you want to learn analytics? Do you want to learn content creation? Do you want to learn, marketing? What do you want to learn? In that, then you can look for a course and look at ratings and everything and go by, what the public is saying. And if you want a certificate or internships, based on that, you can make your choices. So that's the question. That's the first question. In terms of the second one, like I said, we need to be responsible. We need to definitely watch what we are saying, what we're doing. Anywhere in any public forum, we will be careful about what we speak. A spoken word cannot be retracted, right? And very much more so on an online platform where it's permanent. There is always going to be a record of you doing some activity online. So if you are going to make a permanent impact somewhere, it's going to be an online platform. It's never completely gone, what you said or what picture you put out. Once you keep that in mind, automatically you will be more responsible. 10 years down the line, 5 years down the line, it can come back and bite you, what you did. So everything that you say or do, if you know that, okay, I'm okay with this being seen by all of these people, I'm okay with this producing certain reactions or repercussions, and I still want to go ahead and do it, then it's your choice. But without asking yourself those questions, don't just rant out. Just like you can't rant out, do anything on offline also. Same thing applies online, and online it is even more dangerous because it's going to always be permanent. Even offline, every conversation today can just be somebody can pick out their phone and take a video and put it out, right? So we need to be really careful of what kind of impression we are making online or offline and be responsible. So once you ask that question of yourself, you'll automatically act responsibly.
Thank you, ma'am. I think the very clear and lucid answer. There is one question from Mr. Ganesan from Namakkal. Madam, very nice information. Do you think we have reached the end of all kinds of social media platforms, or do you think there are still some more coming?
I don't think there's any end to it. There will be new ways in which, people will try to connect. It's all about connections and conversations, right? Social media is all about wanting to, make your presence felt online. There will be many, many more, and hopefully we live to see quite a few, and we learn those also.
Right. Thank you. There's one gentleman who wants to ask.
Good evening, ma'am. My name is Prem. I teach advertising in Avicii College. First of all, thanks for this wonderful talk. We all got very much enlightened. I have two questions. You said that you started your career from one sector to another. So what were your initial challenges while starting? So how much, I can earn, annually? What will be my, what is the business that I can make for a year or something like that, if you want to share? Thank you.
Thank you. That's a great question. See, when I started, like I said, it wasn't really these many options or these many companies, and not so much competition in this area. It was the early stages. When I started, I learned YouTube on my own. I put content on YouTube, and somehow my video crossed 1 lakh views, and not without intending it to become so popular. My first YouTube video itself did so well. So then I started looking at how it did well and went and learned. Then I started putting out content on Facebook to attract people to my YouTube, and all this by trial and error I learned. And so that's how I straddled the social media. And being a marketer and a communicator, the rest of it is all the same across all areas of marketing and brand. It's all the same. Like I said, it's just that it's a new tool or a new technology. And what you have to say about yourself or your client or anything doesn't change. How you want to present your brand to the people, that hasn't changed. It's all same old, same old. None of those rules have changed. We just learn what is this new animal, how we should tailor make something to suit that. That's about all we needed to learn. Right? So just how did we all learn to use a computer, use a mouse, and then use iPad, and then now today even in a traditional desktop computer we try to scroll like this. How did that become so natural? Even my TV, sometimes I'll try to do this. That's how our gestures, everything has changed. Like that, we just straddled a new animal. That's about it. The rest of it is all about, if you're somebody who teaches advertising, the rest of it is all same. Nothing changes, right? So besides that, if you want to do it as a business, it's like any other business. When you start, there's going to be a lot of entry problems and barriers. You may not know really the business. Maybe you can do some internships or pick up a job with someone or get into some company and try and learn a few tips and tricks before you really do it. And while starting any company, always hire people who are good at that particular niche or job and who are smarter than you in that area. So that also helps, right? So hire youngsters who know what they're doing in that area, right? So you know the brand and you know advertising and you know communication. They know how to operate this. So marry the two. And then you'll probably have a way of, going about the business. So that's what my advice is.
Thank you, Ms. Kritika. I think we have come to the end of the time that we have today. I think that's all the time we have. Otherwise, a lot of questions have come. Maybe we'll share them with you sometime online and you can take them on. Before we hand over the memento, is there anything
I
that
think Babita wanted to say something. Group
Sure.
captain.
Please go ahead.
No, it's okay if we are run out of time.
No, Babita, speak.
No, I just wanted to build on to what Kritika is saying is, sometimes I think we make the mistake of looking at social media as the end objective, right? So we need to ask ourselves, what are we chasing? If we look at social media as the journey to a destination, right? And the destination needs to be clear in our mind that I need to establish myself as this. I want to reach this. And then how can I be my authentic self and use this as a channel to reach there? Otherwise, with every post, we'll be stressed about what are the comments, what are the likes, are people sharing it? And I think then we get disgruntled and disappointed in ourselves and feel that we are not cut out for it. It is never the end objective and it should not be. It's just another channel like any other channels.
Absolutely. The objective and setting goals for yourself, what you want to achieve out of it is what should define what you say. Absolutely.
Ms. Maithili, would you want to say something as concluding remarks?
It was really great. And I'm just so impressed by the self-starter and self-learning ability that you displayed. And that's really been very inspiring for me. I mean, just go Google and learn and start somewhere are my big takeaways. Thank you, Kritika.
Thank you. May I now request Group Captain Vijay Kumar to come and give away the memento to the guest speaker of the day, Ms. Kritika. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give her a big round of applause. She's really come forward to physically come and address the members today, despite all the constraints that we are going through. So thank you so much, Ms. Kritika, for making it to MMA today. So would you like to? Yeah, that was a master class indeed. So thank you so much. Let me now thank everybody. The formal vote of thanks first to Ms. Maithili for putting this together, for Ms. Babita for having joined all the way today, and Ms. Lata Kumar, despite her other commitments and other things, joined us online. Yes, you want to say something, Ms. Maithili? Please go ahead.
Sorry, one more thing. As a forum, we are keen to start a community page on Facebook. And we are just starting some work on that. And I look forward to Kritika's mentorship and advice on how to make it happen. You have all seen what an expert she is on the whole thing. And we will come back to this audience, maybe with a small survey on would the women be interested in a community space where you can come and discuss, the personal challenges of your professional lives. Just putting the thought out there. There is already a Facebook page. Invites are going out. Please look for it. MMA Women's Business Forum on Facebook, and come and join us. We are just starting, but hopefully one day it will be big. And I mean, we just have to start, as Kritika said. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Maithili, for that intervention and invitation for a lot of women students here, a lot of women watching this program. So this is an open invitation to all of you to come and join us at the Women's Business Forum Facebook page that's available. I can send you the links. So thanks, Ms. Lata Kumar. Thanks to all the audience who joined us here live at MMA. And thanks to all those of you who are watching us online today to make this program a grand success. Is there anything else? All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. That brings us to the end of this program. Until we meet again in the next program of the Women's Business Forum and next program from MMA. Reach back home safe. Have a great night, great evening. Bye.
Thank you.